Hey, we are back, and today with Things Men Buy, we are going to be looking over some very important aspects of your adult life. This one's going to be pretty clever. We're going to be looking over how to read a check. I want to make this full screen for you to see. You can see right here, there's a list of things that we're going to be discussing and looking over. So I'm looking forward to talking about some of those with you. Let's go ahead and get out of the full screen. And I want you to take another look at this screen right here. This one's going to be full screen right now. You know, I want to put myself on the screen. Let's put me right here. Okay, and the numbers on the bottom always confused me. I was never sure what they were. I thought they had something to do with the checking account number. I was never sure how to read those numbers on a check. We're going to talk about routing, accounting, and check number, why these are all important, and why you need to understand them. So here we are on the website, and we're going to look over how to read a check. There's some information about it. You know checks, right? You still write them? I know I do. Not a lot, but they come in handy. They do come in handy. There's times where you really do need a check. And they're nothing new. They've been around for a very long time. They have a lot of information on them in spaces. We're going to talk about what all those mean. Let's go ahead and go down and see what's over here. We're in incognito. Of course, we're going to see a little bit of ads here and there. And before we scroll down, I want to take a look at this pay to order of, check number, and data space. So pay to order is a line known as the payee line. Usually the name of the person or business goes there. Check number is the number, the upper right corner of the check. Now this is the number that the check is. We don't ever want to do duplicate checks. So it's important that every check has a different number. Okay. Data, date, space. This is self-explanatory. Okay. The date of the check. And if you've written anything, you know what to put in the date space. Okay. Dollar box. This is the amount you write in the check. The amount of money you're going to write in that box of the check. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. The dollar line. This is where the amount of the check is written out, mostly in words. The signature line is where the check is signed. The memo line is, it's okay to be left blank. If you do, it's not something that's going to cause you problems. But ideally, you want to put a memo in for records. Also, it's just good bookkeeping and accounting. So let's take a look at some of this. In fact, I'm going to go back to the image so that we can really see this zoomed in, because the website's not giving us the look that I would like. So I'm going to take us back so we can see a zoomed in look. Okay, so let's start with check number. We got that right up here. We're looking at the check box. This is where your signature goes. Sign. Account number and routing number. We'll talk about this a little bit later. This is where you're going to put your memo in. Pay to the order of. This is where you put in who is going to receive the check. This can be a private individual or it can be a business. You just want to make sure you get this right, because they are going to be the ones to cash it. So it's got to match their identification and be able to clear the security protocols. So when you do pay to the order of, make sure you get it to the right person. Now this is where we actually write out in words the dollar amount. So here we have $62, and there's going to be no cents. It's going to be just 62 even. So it lines out $62 right here. Elsewise, we would put say it's $62.05. We would put $62.05, $62.15. It looks like it's just going to be 62. No problem there. Okay. Now I've seen a lot of people ask about routing and accounting number. If you are giving a check out, you're going to have your bank's routing number, and with your check, it's going to have your account number listed there as well. There has been some concerns from people that when they do this, they're giving out their personal information, because they're giving out their routing number and they're giving out their account number. I talked to a bank about this personally, and this is true. And if you have concerns, maybe try to do a form of payment that's not check. But unfortunately, if you do a check, you will be giving out your bank routing number, which is public knowledge, but also your account number. Now, there are safeguards. People can't do a ton of damage with just your routing number and account number. that said, they do have access to it. So there is a potential there, just like with anything, there's a potential of risk and fraud. When you run a credit card payment, you are giving out your 16-digit credit card number. So there's always going to be that element of risk there. So you want to keep in mind, this is just something that comes with the territory. It's good to always refer back to your checkbook, because there are going to be times you need to put in your routing number and account number into different facets for different reasons. And I often forget mine. I have one memorized now, but in the past I would pull out my checkbook and I would see my routing number, and more importantly, I would see my account number. So ideally, if you are doing anything where you have to remember one or the other and you don't think you can remember both, remember your account number. It's very common knowledge to find your routing number. To find your account number is going to be a lot harder. So that will be the priority of which one to learn first. Remember your account number. That would be helpful. Let's take a look at this image right here now. Okay. Now here is where you're going to see your routing number, right here account number, and right here check number. And again, like we talked about earlier, we do not want duplicate checks. So ideally you want to make a check number that, and if you're using a checkbook, your check number is going to be an exact number from your checkbook. If you're doing an e-check, which is an electronic check, and you are choosing a check number or even a void check, and a void check is done often when you have to surrender your routing and account number to a particular business, and they're going to be processing your funds from your checking account, and they call it ACH, automatic checking. I can't remember the H off the top of my head, but it's called an ACH transfer from your bank account checking into a set of funds for payment. Usually, when they're doing that, they're going to choose a check number. Even still, so you want a check number for those that are. I always go into tens of thousands. You can have an infinite amount that you can choose from checking numbers, so you don't have to get worried about not choosing the right checking number. Ideally, though, if you're going to have a checkbook, your checking numbers are going to start from 0 up. So say you have a checkbook, your checking number will be probably 0 to 100, your second checkbook 100 to 200, your third checkbook 200 to 300, and so forth. So if you're doing an e-check, you don't want to do a checking number that's low. You want it to be pretty high. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and jump back on screen. I'm going to tell you right now that we appreciate you being here. Again, please like, comment, and subscribe so you can get more of a community sense with some of this information. This should be pretty helpful for you, and we want you to really dig in and get an owning on being able to fill out a check and understanding how a check works and why you might need it. So be well. We will see you soon.